Hello everyone, this is Zagany333, and this is a review over The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, a movie that I've wanted to cover for a very long time on this channel, as well as maybe mention a little bit about the book. The book is honestly what I prefer, that's what I'll mention. But another thing I was going to say is apologies because you may hear extremely heavy fucking rainfall. That's a good thing for me because I love the fucking rain, but for everybody else, you know, yeah, it might be in the background, kind of bothersome. I don't fucking know. Also, I thought maybe having this, you know, a cigar for once would make it where I don't have to constantly relight. But that's already going well, isn't it? Yeah, it's going fucking well. Anyways, so here are my notes, and once again, I fucked up. There's a no rating here, but I'll be giving it one. I'll be thinking to myself throughout this review and giving it the fucking rating. But it's from 2011. Yeah, I'm doing the American version of this film. It's from 2011. It's rated R, and it is 2 hours and 38 minutes. It is crime, drama, mystery. And one thing I'll say is while I'm in a joking mood, in all reality, I probably should not be, because this movie is pretty rife with some pretty dark, disturbing, and disgusting subject matter as well as scenery. But this is what I'll say. Is the creative, the opening sequence here I put was really creative. It's really well done. It has Led Zeppelin's Immigrant Song, I believe. Really awesome song. I love Led Zeppelin. Lots of great music there. But yeah, the opening sequence is a really cool, unique one, I think. But what's this movie about? That's what I should always start with. I don't know what the fuck my problem is, but it's there. But this movie is pretty much centered on two characters, two protagonists, which I'm going to probably butcher their fucking names. I used to get them well, but since it's been quite a few years since I've read the book and watched the movie, I rewatched it for this review. But yeah, I might fucking butcher them. But the first protagonist would be Mikael Blomkvist. Yeah, I told you I'm gonna butcher this fucking name. Yeah. So Michael is what I call him, even though that's not the right pronunciation. And then the other protagonist is Lisbeth Salander, which is pretty much the girl with the dragon tattoo that the book is named after. And also, I should mention that these books, it's like a trilogy, and then they ended up, I think, making a fourth one. But it was, you know, a trilogy beforehand, and I highly recommend them. But it's pretty much about those two characters, Michael being, I'm going to refer to it as Michael, refer to him as Michael, okay, apologies. But it's about him pretty much being a reporter and having some sort of scandal go on. But anyways, he is hired by a wealthy family to pretty much solve a 40-year-long mystery, a disappearance. And Lisbeth is pretty much a hacker, and she ends up becoming his assistant and joining him on this, you know, murder mystery kind of thing, if you will. But it is a lot more so than just that. There's a lot of really awesome details, the way the story goes and stuff like that. That's at least to me what makes this unique, as well as the characters themselves. But here's what I'll put here, because I'm going to be talking about the movie right now. I'm kind of comparing it to the book, and I should actually elaborate on that first. So how I got into this series was I had heard that the movie was coming out, and it looked interesting. And this was one of those cases where I decided, before watching the movie, I wanted to pick up the book and read that first. And so that's exactly what I did. I bought the book, and I read the book and really loved the book. It was fucking great. Amazing. You know, that's another thing I'll probably be getting to when I give this a rating. I don't know. I haven't, like, thought about what I would rate the book, but I'm going to probably mention something like that. But yeah, I loved the book and was hyped as hell for the movie. And then when I finally saw the movie, to be honest with you, I was a little bit disappointed. And it's not because the movie was bad, because as you'll hear more here, as well as when I get to the rating, it's not exactly a bad movie. But it's a circumstance where once you've read the book, or if you've read the book beforehand like I did, which I'm happy I did, the movie just does not compare to the book. So, here's one thing I'd put here, and it's kind of like a negative in a way. Even though this film has a 2 hour and 38 minute runtime, that's a pretty long fucking runtime for a film, isn't it? And yeah, my plan is fucking failing. And since I jokingly threw the lighter down, that makes me have to waste more time to pick it up. Yeah, nothing I do works, guys. It's okay. But this is what I'll say, is the problem that I have with this movie, a big fucking problem that I have with this movie, is really it rushes by when it comes to the family members / suspects, because yeah, it's a 40-year-long mystery, and they're pretty much trying to find out who may be involved in and around the surrounding family, in that disappearance. And the problem is compared to the book here, which I put, which builds it up and takes its time, and it's more believable because, it really goes into each of the family members, their different lives, what their, history was, because a lot of them are, an older age, and they've had, like, entirely different lives and different circumstances, different things, as well as being in different places when this mystery occurred the 40 years prior. But in the book, it really takes its time to make these characters believable and really give them all, those lives. And you really feel that, and the mystery itself, in a way, is more complicated because of that, because it makes it to where there are many, many people that it possibly could be. And so you're kind of wondering to yourself, and throughout the story, it's like, you go from guessing it's one person to another, and it just gets pretty crazy in the book. Whereas in the movie, it really rushes by. Like, you can tell that they tried to take, and that's one other thing I fucked up on. I was hoping to put the actual page count number down here on how many pages the book was. I don't think I'll be able to recall if it's 400 or more than that. I can't honestly recall the page count there. But that's what I'm saying, is that you can tell very easily here that they really tried to cram what they could and condense it into a 2-hour and 38-minute runtime, but it's just too short of a runtime to really give the story its due and to really, be as good as it could be. And so that's what I feel like, in whole, this movie is kind of like a disservice to the story in a way, while also in other ways living up to it. But yeah, that's one thing I'd put, is it rushes by when it comes to these suspects and when it comes to, the family history, all that stuff, which makes it a little bit less epic and a little bit, not as impactful of a story. And gosh damn it. Okay, yeah. I'm going to have to continue to keep doing this, but this is another thing I'd put here. Is I mentioned it before in other videos, but Elizabeth is like probably one of my favorite female protagonists. And just the way, like, in the book version, I would say she's my favorite female protagonist. And that's because I feel like she's more elaborated on in the book compared to the movie, because just like how it rushes by with all of the family members and the mystery as a whole, it's trying to cram all of that in. It's, something similar there. While you see Elizabeth, you don't really get as much of her character and a much, things elaborated on when it comes to her as you do in the book. And I have to, unfortunately, skip this part until spoilers. There will be a couple spoilers that I get into, and it's there where I'll be mentioning the more disturbing aspects. So, in a way, you could consider this maybe a disturbing film. I don't recall if it's made lists or anything, but it's definitely got some really fucked up subject matter, that's for sure. So, let me see here. This is the other thing I'm going to put. Is this movie is not at all for everyone, because it's more so a slow burn kind of film and a mystery, rather than it being an action film or something like that. So, depending on what kind of movie you like, and depending also on a lot of movies I have been reviewing lately and everything else, you may very well end up not liking this movie just because it's a very slow-paced, detail-oriented film. That's what I also put here, I think, on another bullet point. Let me see, I'm pretty sure I had put that on another bullet point. Is that it's, where the fuck is that bullet point? What the hell is this? Well, I thought it was here. I thought it was fucking here. But yeah, it's pretty much more so detail-oriented and stuff like that, rather than an action-packed flick or anything. But it's still good. But just keep that in mind. If you're looking for something that's more focused on action, rather than a, you know, slow building story and a mystery and all of that, then yeah, this may not be the movie for you if you're looking for action instead. And then I also put this, that the book overall felt more realistic, not just, you know, yeah, more realistic feeling with the character's family history, everything, even that mystery overall, was, it felt more realistic and believable in the book compared to the movie. But let me see, I think there's another spoiler here. And I did put this, that I feel like it is a shame, though, that the second and third films weren't made, at least when it comes to the American adaptation and stuff. But, so yeah, we just got this, and then I believe the fourth one was later on made into a film. But yeah, it's a shame that we didn't see that. But here's another thing that I thought that I would mention, and that is that I've heard, you know, and read a little bit, and I've heard that the original Swedish films, because the trilogy was made, you know, the original trilogy films, the Swedish versions, I've heard that those are apparently much better, and I do believe they even have a longer runtime than this one. Like the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, the Swedish version, I believe has a much, at least a little bit longer of a runtime, I believe, which may help be able to, you know, elaborate the story better. That might fix some of it. And like I said, I had heard it's better, but unfortunately, I have not yet been able to purchase and watch, you know, those films to be able to see that actual difference. But I also heard that the character playing Lisbeth Salander was very well received for the Swedish version. So I don't know how to compare that either. I feel like the actress who portrayed her here did a very good job. And that's one of the positives I'll say, is for the time that we are given for these characters, I feel like all the acting is very good. And I feel like they're pretty well portrayed, you know, and coinciding with their book counterpart. Just for me, I think that the biggest gripe, the biggest complaint that I have is, like I continue to say, they're trying to take a huge story with all these details there, and, you know, it's the details that end up kind of making the story as incredible as it is, at least for me, because, you know, over the course of the book, like I've said, you get so much info, and it's so believable because of all of the in-depth that they go with the family and all the, you know, surrounding details, the whole mystery and everything, which I can't really get to because it would spoil stuff. But when they go into all those things in that book, it's done way better than when it's crammed into a 2-hour film. And it tries, but yeah, it just doesn't compare to it. But fucking Christ. So, I think really that's all I kind of have to say, and I should probably just get to spoilers. So I figured what I would give this film is somewhere maybe like a 7.5, heading towards 8. You know, maybe if I one day check out the Swedish version, that one might be like an 8 or something higher. I don't know, though, since I haven't watched it. But when it comes to the book, I feel like I would give the book something like maybe a 9 or something, from recollection, because it's been a few years. But I absolutely loved the novel when I read that. And while I do still like this film, like I've said, just if you want to get into this series, I highly recommend picking up the books first before you watch these. You know, unless you're someone who just likes only movies. But still, I would say you're kind of giving the story a disservice, because the book just handles all of that overall way better. But for those of you who'd like to maybe save the story and, you know, all that for reading or watching the film, peace the fuck out. And for everybody else who already knows how fucked up this story kind of gets, we'll go into just a couple spoilers. I'm not going to go crazy into it, but we'll go into just a couple of spoilers here. Okay. Okay, so I fucking absolutely hated her fucking Elizabeth's caretaker, if you'd call him that. The person who was appointed to her by the state that was supposed to be handling her finances and other stuff like that. I absolutely hate the fucker in the book and in this film. And I feel like, you know, like I said, acting across the board was great. They all, I think, did a good job, whether it be the Daniel Craig who played Mikhail, or, you know, Elizabeth Salander's actress, as well as this fucking bastard. They all did good portraying their characters. But yeah, I absolutely fucking hated him in the book and in this movie too. Because, yeah, there's some really uncomfortable fucking scenes that are there, including rape, pretty much. And so yeah, that's what I probably should have before spoilers mentioned this, but I do find this story disturbing. Book and movie version for not just bits of the mystery, obviously, because the mystery is pretty crazy. With the whole murders and stuff that happen, they're pretty fucked up. But as well as this in particular is really fucked up too, obviously. But this is the thing I thought I would put here that to me especially makes this more so screwed up than something you'd see in like Last House on the Left or other films where this kind of subject matter has been involved. What makes this one to me in a way more so fucked up, or fucked up in its own way, is how it's a sort of like system forced vulnerability. Lisbeth is sort of forced into this vulnerable state due to being appointed this fucker and having to have this corrupt asshole who isn't doing what he's supposed to be doing. He's abusing his position of power and he's abusing that shit. And so to me that in a way makes it especially more so sick and fucked up and terrible to see. But I guess the good thing is, though, for us viewing it, at least she does get that revenge, and she goes about getting revenge in a very good fucking way, I would say. I mean, he regrets it, that's for sure. But let me go into more things. I already mentioned how the book's more overall realistic and stuff. I feel like the whole scene later on in the movie where Michael's held captive by the person who, caused a lot of shit. I'll just leave it there just in case. I feel like that whole scene in particular was well done as well. Pretty good compared to the book and stuff. And I also like the song that they chose to accompany it, which made it pretty screwed up, especially of a scene as well. But let me see here. Yeah, really, I guess those are the only spoilers I really wanted to touch on. I mean, like I said, the acting was good and everything. They chose good actors. The story is amazing, even in the film and stuff. It's just, it feels like a watered down version. That's just the whole feeling that I get. When you read the whole book, it delivers the story the way it was supposed to be. And when you watch the film, like I said, it's kind of just, not really toned down. It doesn't really tone anything down. It's just, to me, it doesn't have enough time to really give all the details and really flush the story out to make it as epic of one as it was in the book and the novel adaptation. And, sadly, though, I've read a bit of the sequel, the second one, The Girl Who Plays with Fire, I'm pretty sure it's called. A few years ago I'd read some of that, but I didn't finish it. I need to get back and finish that, as well as probably pick up the Swedish versions of the films and watch those, because I've heard nothing but good things about those. But maybe some of you guys have already checked those out. I mean, if you'd like to, in the comments, leave some thoughts on, either version, whatever you think and stuff. One day, hopefully, I'll be able to check those ones out, maybe even review them here. But, yeah, I'm sorry if there wasn't too much spoiler-wise to really elaborate on, but I guess that, at least for me, most of what I wanted to talk about was while it was still a good film, I felt like these negatives, like those, are kind of what kept it from showing the story as, good as it could have been shown on the big screen, on the television and shit. But I hope that you all have an amazing, wonderful, bad fucking ass day, and I will see you guys in the next movie review that I do. Peace. Have an amazing one.